and my name is Lily Abrams, and today we're going to be talking about the true roots of success.
So take a moment to look at this math problem that was on an actual ACT test.
You don't actually have to answer it, but just think about how the difficulty of the question, what level you have to be to answer this.
Okay, so some of you may know the answer, it's B, but most of us would have difficulty answering 60 of these in only an hour. To aid us in scoring better, a lot of us get ACT or SAT tutors.
So this Townsend Learning Center is actually a tutoring center in Cleveland.
It's run by your aunt.
Yeah. And they offer, much like other places, tutoring for the SAT and the ACT, and their hourly rate is $70. But while Bess was studying for her June ACT, she called a private tutor in Shaker, and her hourly rate was $85, so this is actually cheaper than what most private tutors would be.
But unfortunately, a lot of people can't afford this amount of money for just 60 minutes for test assistance. To put this expense in perspective, Lily and I researched how much people spend on food annually, and we figured out that we focused mainly on the set of people who made $15,000 as an annual income, and if this set of people were a family of four, it would be well below the poverty line, which I think is $24,000 a year. But so we figured out that they spend about 14.9% on food a year, which is about a little over $2,200 a year, which is around $190 a month, and then is $46 a week. So why, if they're already forced to buy food with almost nothing, would they sacrifice 2 weeks of food for an hour of test prep?
So because most people aren't able to afford a tutor for these standardized tests, their scores usually are lower than most. So this is a graph showing the three sections of the SAT, the critical reading, math, and writing. And it's a correlation between the annual family income and the scores. So as you can see, as the income increases, so do the scores, and this is most likely due to the fact that these families have the money to spend on tutors so that you can increase your score. So you could say that these tests are more a reflection of your socioeconomic status than your actual knowledge and mental capability, and it's more of a test of accessibility than anything else. But unfortunately, this unfair testing isn't a new idea.
So the civil service examinations began in the Sui dynasty, but were more accessibly used during the Qing dynasty. They were developed as a means to allow more social mobility, but it rarely achieved this goal. Like the ACTs and SATs of today, people of a lower economic status rarely succeeded, and this was especially true in the less prosperous North China. There was a 1 in 6,000 chance that somebody would actually succeed on the test, and the people who did were most likely wealthy enough to have received an education earlier on in their lives. Also, in addition to this, only men were allowed to take the test.
So like the civil service exam, today's standardized tests have many faults other than just your socioeconomic status.
I'll use myself as an example. The day that I took the SAT, I had been sick, basically out sick for an entire week, and so then I walked into the SAT and I could barely breathe, and then I sat down for my essay and I forgot how to write S, which I think impacted my score.
The letter S.
So that probably impacted my score.
Yeah, similar to Bess's story, the week leading up to the PSAT, I had bronchitis, and I was coughing the whole time, completely distracted, and then the night before the ACT, I got 3 hours of sleep because my nerves got to me. And so there's just these other factors that go into the nerves of the test and the stress that's put on this test to succeed, and so it's not just your socioeconomic status.
And it's unfair because it's sort of a predetermined 3-hour testing period.
Yeah. You don't get to decide when you take the test, so you never know what's going to happen.
This brings us to another topic and that's that many people crack under pressure when they are expected to display all of their knowledge in a 3-hour testing period. This was the case for test takers of the civil service exams as well.
A It's also important to remember that not everyone excels in the few subjects that are shown on these tests. Like some people may show their knowledge in the arts or others in history, whereas they don't need to know the contrasting views of the scientists that are shown on the science section of the ACT.
The theory of left brain and right brain dominance also goes along with what Lily said. I consider myself to be sort of a more right brain person because I'm a really visual learner and creative in a sense, but those characteristics of my learning aren't utilized on standardized tests. I think that left brain people sort of have more of an advantage because that's sort of what the formatting of standardized tests are.
So why, when everyone's mind is different and everyone comes from a different background, are we forced to or expected to do well on this test? And are they actually fair?
Confucius actually said that success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure.
So not everyone can receive this preparation. So why is it fair to have these tests measure our future success in life?
There shouldn't be a standardized way to measure someone's success when everybody defines the word differently.
Yeah, so thank you for your time.
Sure.